The Spiral Transit, 1962, by Remedios Varo. I have been emotionally, spiritually, and mentally inside of this painting for days. But I do love a challenge. There is so many moving parts to this. This might actually be my longest video. Let's do it. Now, what if this entire painting is a map of your mind in motion? The Spiral Transit doesn't just give us a labyrinth, or just towers, fortress. She gives us a journey. This is an exploration of a spiritual journey. This is grouped in with her other paintings from the 1960s, where the themes of transition were both physical and metaphysical. This painting in particular is dense with symbolism, and one of her clearest map of consciousness paintings. This was produced in 1962. She later passed away in 1963. Surface level, everything is organized as a double spiral. One path consists of interconnected medieval-style buildings, while the second is a water channel, an outer canal with boats moving inward, and everything seems to lead to a central tower. In the tower sits an ethereal being. Is this supposed to be higher consciousness or the end of the journey? And of course, none of this is random. It is a system that Varo is building. A closed universe with a single destination. Everything winds inward, just continuous movement. Within the structure of the buildings, there's many windows and doorways, and a lot of dead ends that lead nowhere, like here, up here. This may represent daily choices that would either delay or push your journey forward. You may gain progress, or you might hit a dead end. Notice everyone is in an egg-shaped vessel. Some are longer than others, and some are shorter. These vessels feel like a womb, but not in the biological sense. Here they're moving more as containers of consciousness. They have a little hand crank to steer, some have propellers on the back, and some just have a little wind sail to help them along. All these little things are varying degrees of help to push them through the system. Multiple egg-shaped vessels could possibly be different parts of the self, or different states of being through refinement. Some have propellers and some just float along, going in the right direction, it looks like. Now everyone is being carried and protected, and they're enclosed, almost processed by these egg-like boats. Except this person. This person, I noticed, is outside of the structure. Just in the water, exposed, no guidance, no containment. They're also clinging to the side of a boat that is already inhabited by someone else. But she's just holding on, so this to me would suggest desperation or exclusion. Like either they fell out of the system or they were never fully a part of it. It could also be a part of the person in the vessel, a part that maybe they're trying to let go of, but it still clings to the subconscious being dragged along. In Varo's work, water often leads into the gateway of spiritual transformation, and/or the subconscious mind. So being in the water instead of above it like everyone else can feel overwhelming, submerged in something that others are shielded from. Now originally, I thought all the boats were going in the same direction just at a glance, but I also noticed differences in the passengers. Some are singular, just floating along. Then I found a clearer image, and I was drawn to this boat here that looks like there is a driver and a shrouded passenger. While other passengers are active and identifiable, that figure is bundled and passive, introducing a sense of mystery and vulnerability. In Varo's language, a shrouded or wrapped figure can represent a part of the person's subconscious that is still unprocessed or in utero, unformed and unprotected. The driver has full control of that vessel. They cover the pedals and the steering. So is that the conscious, active will, making the shrouded figure the cargo of their soul? I'm telling you, I've been at this for days. I'm in deep. Now, the trees are interesting in the way they are placed about, and their condition. Trees would normally symbolize life, growth, and rootedness, which you'd think would make them thrive here, but instead they're withering inside the spiral. That would suggest whatever system this is doesn't nurture life, it drains it. Along with the dark, stormy clouds and the choppy water, this contrasts with the structural, mathematical precision of the spiral. Let's move on to the goat and or ram-like creatures. Rams are uncontrollable. Across symbolism, goats and rams are tied to instinct, stubborn independence, and unpredictability. And they don't move in straight, obedient lines here either. Some just veer off, resist, do what they want, which quietly challenges what the spiral is trying to do. Now the boat's going in the wrong direction. Some are going towards the tower as you'd expect, seeing as the tower here looks like the destination or the end. But Varo rarely paints linear journeys. The spiral suggests movement inward and outward, as well as progression and regression. So those boats don't go the wrong way. Because, hint, this isn't a one-way trip. It's more like growth, doubt, repeat, return, and retreat. Almost like people keep entering and exiting the state of awareness. That was big for me. I do that constantly. So some are actively seeking moving towards the tower, while others are being pulled away, distracted, or weighed down. Resistance to transformation at this stage is not a shared journey, but a fragmented one. Going towards the tower here reads as knowledge, awakening, maybe even confinement disguised as purpose. Moving away could represent fear of change, rejection, loss of control, or skepticism of what awaits them in the tower. Remember, Remedios had an aversion to forced enlightenment, which came from a mix of personal trauma, political upheaval, and deep skepticism of anyone claiming to have authority over the mind or soul. Honestly, same. When she fled Nazi-occupied France in 1941, that taught her something very specific. Systems that claim to fix or purify can very often become controlling and violent. And the ideology is usually imposed in the name of truth or progress. In her time, psychology, religion, and even science basically told you what was good for your mind, body, and soul. And that's how these people positioned themselves, so that they could tell you what's best for you. And Varo pushed back on that narrative. In the spiral transit, the journey seems mechanical and controlled, almost industrial. At the end, before the staircase to go up to the tower, sits an empty vessel, which was confusing to me. Did the individual already climb the stairs to enlightenment? Did they find what was promised to them during their journey? And will they ever leave the tower, as the only other way out leads to a dead end here? Or to go back into the canal? Varo heavily believed that awakening should be self-directed, organic, and intuitive, and not exposed by an external system or authority figure. And in her painting, the system promises guidance and innocence, but everything about it contradicts freedom. It looks like a path set by a authority structure that you are meant to follow. But as you start to direct your own movement here, it turns into something controlled instead of something self-discovered. So if you picked up on the contradiction that Varo has built, everything looks like ascent, but nothing guarantees your arrival.